Bad news out of Iraq. Military spokesman Major General William Caldwell is not one of the yes men of Rumsfeld, apparently, because he's in Iraq. And
I think you probably feel more emboldened if you're in Iraq, to speak the truth. Like
yeah,
the bullets are whizzing by my head.
Right, and, a couple of people have just died. You come back. I don't think you're going to be like, oh, yes, sir, let me repeat your talking point about how great it's going, sir, as I just had to bury 3 more people, sir. So anyway, he's come out with a little bit of truth. Major General Caldwell says, in Baghdad, Operation Together Forward has made a difference in the focus areas, but has not met our overall expectations in sustaining a reduction in the level of violence. And he continued later, the violence is indeed disheartening. We find the insurgent elements, the extremists, are in fact punching back hard. They're trying to get back into those areas, meaning the areas they tried to clear out in Operation Together Forward. And finally, he says, it's clear that the conditions under which we started are probably not the same today, and so it does require some modifications of the plan. Meaning, this thing ain't working, it ain't gonna work, and all we're doing is losing good men, and the level of violence has not gone down, it has gone up. Even in the latest tactic to get Baghdad under control. It is a terrible situation, and as we just had a report from a Newsweek reporter in Baghdad, it is chaotic. It is chaos. And I wanted to mention this yesterday, and I'm glad we're getting to it today. We've said on this show many times before over the last several months, saying it's officially a civil war. The people on TV and the journalists, they can gather up the courage to say that whenever they like, right? What's on the ground is clear. Everyone from Baghdad in Iraq is reporting a civil war. When they get over here, they're told, hey, you better not say that. The Republicans didn't approve that talking point. But it's now taking it to a different step. It's gone from a civil war to chaos. I mean, absolute chaos. But certainly in my lifetime, this is as bad a civil war and chaos as I have ever heard of. I mean, you have to understand, it's not just Baghdad. It's not just the insurgency and the militias that we hear about. In Mosul right now, the Kurds are trying to take over that area so that they can annex it to Kurdistan, Mosul and Kirkuk. And the Arabs are in open revolt. The Arabs, in that case, are against the Kurds in the area. And there are
no Sunnis, really, in that fight.
No, the Arabs are Sunnis. There are no Shiites.
I'm sorry, I mean there are no Shiites in that fight.
Right. And car bombs going off, people walking into malls, blowing themselves up. I mean, just an absolute state of siege. And there's open warfare in the streets. Now, down in the south, that's northern Iraq, down in the south, the Shiite militias have begun open warfare against each other. And people that are there, whether it's the generals or the reporters, are having a hard time making sense of it. It's the Mahdi army versus the Badr brigade, and it's people walking into people's houses and just blowing them away, whether they're a provincial governor or a local police chief, or they're just civilians because they happen to be in the wrong part of town, and that belongs to the Badr brigade and not to the Mahdi militia. It is chaos in Iraq.
Let me make a couple of quick points here. One, a piece that we had Christian Carl, Newsweek reporter in Baghdad, and he wrote about Muqtada al-Sadr back in 2003, a bit player, right? But in the months after the invasion, cast as an upstart, an outsider, a decided second ranker. Now, what a difference 3 years have made in Iraq, sundered by sectarian violence. Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani looks to many Iraqis like a voice of outdated moderation, while Muqtada al-Sadr, who we at one point had an arrest warrant, of course, for, has managed to win followers by melding traditional Shiite sense of aggrievement with a strong appeal to Iraqi nationalism. I wanted to ask him about that. But, that's obviously, look, if Muqtada al-Sadr becomes the main force in Iraq, and it may be inevitable, then we've just wasted our time.
It couldn't be more true. He's a strong man. He's a vicious strong man, and he is now, unlike Saddam, a very hardcore Muslim fundamentalist.